in a global mass meditation. It takes place on Saturday, July 25th. It's 12:53 a.m. We're going to meet here at midnight, and we're going to do it as a physical group here. We'll follow along with the live stream broadcast. Everybody follows to keep in sync. And if we get enough people participating around the world, it's going to strengthen the planetary light grid. It's going to stabilize the golden planetary timeline that we're on. And it's going to anchor for the first time the 12th ray of cosmic paradise. And it's also going to help clear what's left as far as obstacles to a better life for all of us. Essentially, the root of everything starts with this phenomena called the anomaly. It's in the quantum field, the quantum and the subquantum field. And it's the root. It's the root of all evil, literally. It's what makes evil possible. It blocks the light of source from flowing, and it causes trauma and disruption. It's in the quantum field itself. It's distortion in the field. The ancient Gnostics called it error. They knew about it, and it was an error. It's a fundamental flaw in the fabric of reality. And it's always been there. The source didn't understand what it was, but has been studying it from the beginning and figured out finally what to do to transmute it and clear it. And it's what it is fluctuations, chaotic fluctuations that come up out of the quantum foam. And this comes up into the physical plane and manifests as accidents, physical accidents, or Murphy's Law, things just going wrong. Physical illness, it can come up into the etheric plane and cause energy blockages in your etheric body. It can cause emotional disruptions, emotional instability, and then mental instability and negative emotions, negative thoughts. So it causes disruption on all levels. And it blocks the flow of source light because it's a disruption in the field. And the light is what triggers our evolution to a higher state of being. We don't get as much light as we need. We don't get as much light from the source as we're really designed to thrive on. And we're kind of starved for it. And so, but the light is what triggers our evolution and ultimately our ascension process. So the anomaly serves as a descension force. It holds everything down in a low vibration. And the dark forces, who still largely control the earth, they know how to weaponize it and use it. They use it to reinforce their control system and block the light and keep everybody in a low vibration. And so the good news is it can be cleared.
Did you say that this has been getting worse lately?
Well, it's actually been getting better, but it's been super concentrated around the earth for tens of thousands of years. They've known how to manipulate it, and so it's very densely layered around the earth. It's taken a while to clear it. But the Gnostics called it error. It's an error in the fabric of reality, but they also saw that it was going to be fixed. And they called that Sophia's correction. Sophia is the soul of the earth, and she was a creator goddess who came here to ensole the earth and look after her children, the human anthropos, the DNA seed of humanity. But Sophia's correction was the removal of all the darkness and the anomaly, and then it would be as if the darkness never existed. So this is an ancient prophecy. And I believe that's what's happening now, Sophia's correction.
Is it Sophia's or Sophia's?
I always say Sophia just to kind of distinguish it from the common name. I've heard both.
I thought it was Sophia.
Yeah, it looks like Sophia, but some people that I studied called it Sophia, so I just got in the habit of calling it that. But she was a goddess of wisdom, and we'll talk about her in a second. But this is the root of the problem, but it is being cleared, it is being harmonized, and it will solve all of our problems, essentially. It's being cleared by technology from the light forces, the Galactic Confederation, from their ships. They have technology to beam down this Atvor ray that harmonizes and removes the anomaly, and they're constantly doing it. They've cleared a lot of it. It's also cleared by light codes that come from source that get embedded in the quantum field and start to transmute and heal the anomaly. These Ascension Portal meditations, like the one in the 25th, is anchoring, what's reinforcing these. The one last year embedded a new one. And so it's working on that level. Also, metaphysical tools that the light forces use, but we can use them too. The violet flame. You can visualize it planet-wide, clearing the planet, or clearing your space. The best way is you visualize a column like that coming from the sky in a counterclockwise direction, just going all the way through you, and it'll clear your whole space. But you can imagine it around the whole planet. This is the white fire of On. It is a high frequency white fire like the violet flame, but it dissolves anomaly on all dimensional planes. And also the flower of life geometry, sacred geometry. If you visualize that pattern around the earth or around your house or around yourself, it will start to harmonize the anomaly as well. The Emerald Ray is a new one that's been released a couple of years ago. It works as a ray and as a flame, just like the violet ray or the violet flame. And it comes straight from source. It's the highest of all rays. It's above the other 12. It's higher frequency a little bit than the violet flame, and it has some extra properties. It's calibrated specifically to dissolve the anomaly. It also realigns everything with source, and so that's very healing, to be realigned with the divine blueprint. And so the Emerald Ray is sort of the main tool now that we can use. They recommend using it just like you use the violet flame. You can use those two interchangeably. They work for the same purposes, but the emerald flame has a little bit more power to it and some additional properties to it. But just know that when the last of the anomaly is cleared, and it will happen, there will be no more blockages to the flow of source light. It's going to flow unimpeded through everyone and everything, and it's going to speed up our spiritual evolution. It's going to plant us in the planetary golden timeline, the best possible timeline for the planet, and then also that's going to lead to the ascension for us and for the earth. A lot of clearing has happened over the last year. I think it does feel lighter to me in certain ways, at least some of the time, and it's because what we did last August was to anchor the original Ascension Portal, and a lot of us here joined in these mass meditations around the world. There were 3 of them. There was 1 booster and then 3 main ones. We did the first main one here. We did the booster after Kira's astrology class a couple weeks before that. Had a good group, 20, 25 people, and it was very powerful. Everybody, talked about the really positive energies, uplifting, peaceful, optimistic. Felt really, really good. But we helped, the 3 were successful, so it opened the portal in Versailles, France. Versailles is a giant goddess vortex, very positive energy there. And there's another one in Paris, so it's a double goddess vortex. It's a big place in the planetary light grid. So they do a lot of operations in Versailles and Paris because that's going to disseminate the energies out to the whole world. Also, they did it here because in 1775 the portal was opened preliminarily in the Queen's Palace, the Petit Trianon, or Marie Antoinette and Princess Lamballe, her ladies in the royal court. They were all initiated priestesses of Isis, of the ancient Atlantean and Egyptian goddess mysteries, and they were initiated by Saint Germain, who was the Hierophant of those mysteries. And they disappeared for a long time, but he brought them back in France in the 18th century, and all those ladies in the royal court, all the noble French ladies were initiated priestesses of the goddess mysteries. And so he directed them to open this portal, and they opened it in a room in the queen's palace. And so that allowed the portal last August to be anchored there. So what it did was it anchored a bunch of light in the light grid. It anchored some light codes. One thing called the New Earth Key was anchored. This is a special light code that contains the blueprint for Paradise Earth, and it's in the quantum field, and it's constantly rearranging the planetary light grid to wake people up and to kind of manifest the Paradise Earth. It does take everyone's free will into account, and so it's constantly rearranging to make the plan happen. Something called the 1221 point of grace was anchored in the quantum field. This is a conversion mechanism that transmutes negative to positive and does some other things, but it's going to be strongly empowered with this July 25th meditation. We'll talk about that. But it is essentially, divine grace that is anchored now in the quantum field, and is active in transmuting the negativity. The opening of the portal last August, it also helped to reconnect people to their souls. And this was through the emerald ray. That's what the emerald ray does, is it realigns with source. And people have had very weak connection to their souls. This is by design, that we've been kept that way. We're designed to have a strong connection with our soul, and we need one. That's where our intuition comes from. You have 5 senses, but you really need the 6th sense to kind of navigate and know what's coming your way, and what people intend and all that. And so our connection with our higher self has been targeted, and it's been suppressed in a lot of ways deliberately. And so the emerald ray emanation that came down last August helped reconnect everyone. Also, that reconnected us to our free will. Our free will is in our soul. Mm-hmm. And humanity's had a very weak free will, and it's been suppressed and targeted because we wouldn't put up with this. We wouldn't put up with the world as it's been if we had a stronger connection to our free will. We would have imagined a better world a long time ago. And so that started the process of strengthening our free will, which then started the process of us being able to manifest what we want in our lives, and then that's going to help. That's going to help put the world on a positive timeline as well. So the first activation meditation last year was on the 12th of August, and it was pegged to a Jupiter-Venus conjunction, and that anchored energies of joy and happiness in the planetary light grid. And it also anchored the 3rd ray of divine intelligence in the planetary light grid, or the ray of creative intelligence. The second activation last August was on the 18th, and that was linked to a special configuration called Neptune conjunction at the Uranus-Pluto midpoint. This is a very positive alignment that had not been seen for 500 years. It's what triggered the Renaissance and that flowering of spirituality and creativity. So it came back around, and we did the second activation to that one. That anchored the 2nd ray of divine love. And when that happened, we got a wave of cosmic love from galaxy M87. This is this beautiful golden galaxy that's the spiritual overseer for our part of the universe. And they send these very high frequency energies to us, but they were waiting. They wait for humanity to kind of take a step up in its consciousness to be able to receive these energies. And so we were ready on the 18th with this meditation, and they sent this wave, and it came pure cosmic love came through the solar system and it activated Sananda. Sananda is the ascended master who was Jesus, and he's on a mothership in the solar system, and it activated and empowered him to send pure forgiveness to the earth and anchor it in the energy field. He's been doing that for a year because he's good at that. And we need that. We need it, and that's what he focuses on. Now, the third activation was on the 21st of August. This was a heliocentric version of the Neptune conjunction with Uranus and Pluto midpoint. So those energies of the new Renaissance were then spread to the whole solar system. And they used that to anchor and open the portal at Versailles permanently. This anchored the first ray of divine will. So the three main rays were anchored. Will, love, and creativity were anchored over the course of the three. This also anchored and embedded the New Earth key in the quantum field on the 21st. And at that moment, when the portal opened on the Earth, the universe changed its fundamental structure. It had been waiting, it had been wanting to do it and ready to do it for a while. But the whole universe is waiting on the Earth. The entire evolution of the universe is going through what happens on the Earth because the universe wants to take a step up in its evolution, but it can't while the Earth is being artificially held down in this anomaly and in the low vibration, low consciousness. It's not our fault. We've been held artificially in this. And that's why the universe, the whole universe is here to help. But the universe, when the Ascension Portal was opened, marked a huge leap in human consciousness. The universe became it erased all the anomaly for the entire universe. And so the quantum field became a steady state, true vacuum. And even our scientists knew that the universe was unstable at a subatomic level. They call it false vacuum. You could read about it in scientific journals. And they thought one day it might shift over to a true vacuum. Some scientists thought that the universe would disappear when this happened. They thought that would be a negative thing. But this actually happened last August as a result of the Ascension Portal. And so now throughout the whole universe, it is a anomaly-free, distortion-free, subatomic field. Source light can flow everywhere unimpeded, and it's a very high vibrational place. They thought it might liberate the Earth, but the anomaly was still too dense, and so it did not clear the surface of the Earth. It's taken more effort to do it, but everywhere else in the universe, it's now like a paradise. So we are clearing the anomaly. The light forces are doing it. The Ascension Portal activation that we're coming up on is going to do it. And that's really our main task at this point. So if you can join, please come join us. If you can't, try to do it at home. I'll give you the links for it's basically We Love Mass Meditation. That's the site. They're dedicated to publishing the instructions and the links for these videos for these mass meditations. But it's easy to find on YouTube, and they'll have one that's labeled the 1221 Ascension Portal Part 2 live stream broadcast, and that's what you want to tune into at 12:53 our time, Sunday the 25th. But we did get together physically last year, and we had about 20 people. It was very powerful to be in the same room
It was very powerful. I thought I'm a skeptic by nature. All of this, by the way, is supported by astrology, and I thought that it was just going to be a cute little gathering or whatever. My hair was standing on end. It was crazy. And Suzanne, too, who's very, very low-key person, she felt like she was transported to a different place. So it was really cool, I have to say.
You got to feel it. That's the proof. Proof. This is weird information, let me tell you. I've been dealing with this for 15 years. trying to tell people about this, and I mean, this is great to see this many people here wanting to listen, but you gotta feel it. That's what convinces people that all this is real. And you will feel it if you do this meditation here with us or at home. There's 3 booster meditations. What these do is you visualize the soul star chakras. It's a white chakra above your head. You visualize the soul star chakra of everybody around the world lighting up with inspiration to join the main meditation. And so it just increases the number of people who are going to participate. We do need at least 150,000 worldwide to hit what they call critical mass. And that's the number that can move the dial on the human collective consciousness. That's the fraction of humanity that's needed to visualize the same thing at the same time to make things happen.
And we met it last year.
Did. All 3 of them did, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't expect that.
The first one barely did, but all 3 of them did. And the second and third had a couple 100,000 and some more. And that's a better number, and I hope we get that this time. We had over 1 million. There was one in August 4th of 2020. And that one went viral. It got picked up by a bunch of spiritual influencers and went around the world. There's over 1 million people. The Pleiadians have some way of gauging how many people join in. They can either look at how the dial moves in the collective consciousness, or they measure the light grid, and they can measure the energy, and they can see the shift when it happens. So they can say, okay, we hit the critical mass, or we didn't. If you come close but don't quite hit it, it'll still have positive effects, but it won't have the full effects intended in the meditation. I'm excited. These energies are already building, and I'm really expected to end up on the moon with this one, in all honesty, because the astrology is even more powerful, and also we've had a year of intense clearing, so there's less blockages to these energies coming in, and so we could be flying in here together. I think we're going to feel that something has shifted behind the curtain. We'll definitely feel that, and I think that we're going to feel energized. We're going to feel rejuvenated. I think we're going to be able to, our senses and our perceptions may be sharpened. The world is going to be brighter. It's going to feel lighter. I think we may start to know things, and visions are going to come and awaken in dreams, and I think the things we want in our life are going to start to appear, because manifestation is going to be activated and empowered. And I think our own personal golden timeline is going to start to unfold, and we're going to visualize it the way we want. And then that's going to put the planet on a golden timeline, because the more of us that step into our ideal lives, it directly puts the planet on the most positive timeline possible. And so it's very exciting. There are these 3 boosters coming up. These are all pegged in big astrology. The 15th, that's next Wednesday at 3:28 our time. And then on Friday here on the 17th, it'll be 11:45 p.m. UTC is Universal Time. I think we're 5 hours short of that. And then the third booster is going to be on next Tuesday, the 21st at 6:11 our time. And then the main one, and if you only do one, do the main one. That's the one that really opens and activates the portal or strengthens the portal. What these do is they do help build the energy, and they build on each builds on the next. But what these are designed for is to encourage more people to participate in the main one. But the main one is Saturday, July 25th, 12:53 a.m. Our time. So these are all doable. The second and third ones last year were like 2:30 and 4, and so we didn't meet for those. But these are doable. So you notice that all these are pegged to astrology. And everything the light forces do, their big operations and these meditations they organize are pegged to specific astrological alignments. And this July is amazing. It's the 10 days of just one after the other, huge alignments coming up. We're going to go over those. But it actually started 2 days ago. 2 days ago on the 9th was the third and final Neptune conjunction at the Uranus-Pluto midpoint. There was one last August, then there was one on March 7th, and then there's the last one was July 9th. And so this is that new Renaissance, energy plus the Ascension Portal energy came back around, and Saint Germain chose that to bless the earth with abundance. He did an activation where he anchored the energetic blueprint of the new financial system that's going to basically provide abundance for everyone.
Is that the Saint Germain fund?
Yes, so the abundance is going to come from, there's a multi-trillion-dollar fund that he founded 200 years ago that's for light workers, and because light workers, well, first of all, light workers know how to use the money for the highest purpose, right? So they want to put money in the hands of light workers, and we'll talk more about that. But then also the other half of it is our manifestation on top of that. We manifest. Saint Germain manifested all of his wealth. He was in a body in the 18th century in France. He ascended in 1784. But before that, he was the Count of Saint Germain. Saint Germain's a district in Paris. And he had a mysterious background, but he was richer than anyone. And this is why he was popular in the royal courts of Europe and in Russia. He was a counselor to kings and queens and emperors and empresses. They loved him. He was a magic man. He'd do magic tricks. And he was funny and he was smart, but he was richer than anybody else, because back then when you go visit the king's going to give you some money, right? The kings used to giving everybody money, but he was richer than the kings. He would give the kings money. He would give them jewels because he manifested all of his wealth. Literally manifested gold out of etheric gold, out of etheric substance. He manifested jewels. Somebody would hand him a flawed diamond, and he would fix it and make it a perfect diamond, hand it back. So he was very popular because of that. He knows how to manifest wealth. And he has put aside a huge fund called the Saint Germain Fund that's, if they'd released it before now, the dark forces would just have stolen it. So but it's ready to go, and it's for light workers, and it will be released at some time. But we'll also be able to manifest wealth on top. But this activation was beautiful. There was a meditation that we could do to support it. I'm going the wrong way. Okay, and so it's in Paris, right? So a lot of these operations are in Paris or Versailles. France is sort of a center of a lot of this stuff happening, and a lot of metaphysical histories in France. Mary Magdalene went to France and founded a mystery school there at the south of France. So Paris is kind of an epicenter, because they also know what is anchored in Paris will go out to the whole world. And so, but they chose the Place Vendôme, which is a public square, and it's a hexagon, or at least the buildings around it form a hexagon. And then if you can kind of see the faint outlines of an octagon. An octagon. The hexagon is this elongated hexagon in the middle. Both of these are sacred geometry shapes. The octagon harmonizes, and it also dispels anomaly. The 8-sided. The hexagon, even an elongated one like that, is for manifestation. So you can kind of see. Well, you see how the traffic sort of flows both ways. They allow local limited traffic through here, but the cars moving through, going out into Paris, kind of help carry stuff out, energy, kind of carries energy out. It helps the flow. So they chose this, and that obelisk in the middle is an anchor point as well. But you can kind of see the hexagon in the middle there. Whoa, what did I just do? Okay. So the meditation that we did, and I did it for several days. I just love this one. You visualize Saint Germain on the mothership. He's just like Sananda. He's on a mothership, and he pours out liquid etheric gold into the square in the hexagon, the octagon. Then the giant golden chalice, etheric golden chalice appears to catch it, and he keeps pouring till it fills up, and then it overflows out, fills up the square, then keeps overflowing into all of Paris, and then it goes to the whole world through the light grid. This is liquid etheric gold. Anything in the etheric is going to precipitate down into the physical, especially when it's blessed by the guy that knows how to do that when it comes to gold. So this is abundance. This is monetary abundance. It's now been anchored in the light grid of the earth and all this etheric gold that's going to be becoming physical. In the center, he poured emerald light into another chalice, into the hexagon, and then that overflowed out, filled up the square, filled up Paris, and spread to the world. So the emerald light, one thing it's going to do is it's going to clear the anomaly that is in the way of the liquid gold, right? But it's also going to realign everything with source, and it's just going to energize everything. So etheric gold and emerald light together, anchored there, spreading out to the whole world. There he is on his mothership, and there's another vision of him. I prefer his portrait when he was the Count of Saint Germain, but I think he prefers. He said he did. He says that's his fifth dimensional self. He likes that better than the what he looked like when he was in a body. But he's always in violet. He's associated with the violet rays, associated with manifestation, transmutation. And Saint Germain is actually now the commander of the planetary liberation effort. And so Ashtar is the commander of the space effort, but he's the commander of the surface operations.
Isn't he working in tandem with Portia? His divine counterpart?
That may be her name. I've heard different names. I think that's probably her. I've heard Lady Nada, but then I also heard that's not right. So maybe Portia.
Yeah.
All of them have their twin souls, and sometimes you'll see they're hard to find, but you'll often see them depicted with a female counterpart, and they ought to be. They should be, because that is their twin soul, and so you get the male and female energy when you work with them. And so yes, he does have a twin soul. So anyway, this just happened, and it's gonna, I'm already feeling it, but this is very exciting. And so this whole July sequence started really with this. Everything is pegged to astrology, but the main sequence is called Barbeau's basket, and this is extremely rare configuration. Barbeau is a French astrologer, and you can just see him kind of got a visionary look in his eye. He's famous because he predicted the 1989 fall of the Soviet Union, and nobody else predicted that. He predicted it in the 50s. He also predicted COVID in 2020, and not too many people predicted that one. So he, decades before. So he published, decades before in these French astrology magazines. So he became famous when it came true. But decades ago, he saw, in July of 2026, he saw a configuration that he said was the most beautiful of the whole 21st century. And he said it's going to trigger a splendid relaunch of civilization after crisis. And we just went through a crisis. But it's also going to be very positive. It's not destructive. It's not going to feel destructive. It's going to feel creative and positive and uplifting and fun. And that's because of the astrology energies that are driving it. And so it is a basket formation. It has a central opposition between Jupiter and Pluto that forms the red lid of the basket. And that's the core tension that kind of sets the direction, and there's going to be release of that tension. but the release is going to be very positive. It's going to release what needs to go because it's supported by these 3 sextiles and 2 trines. And it's very stable because each one of these planets is exactly at 4 degrees in their sign. And that's extremely rare for these big outer planets that move at different speeds to be at exactly 4 degrees in their signs at the same time in this configuration. Very symmetrical and very, very, very positive and intricate configuration here.
And
So
14 on the last one, so another 4. Very,
yeah,
very stabilized.
there's more to it. I'll show you when Haumea is up here. She's at the apex and she's at the handle of the basket, and she brings in the New Age as well, Kuiper Belt object. But this is the core of it. It's going to start assembling on Wednesday, the 15th, and it's going to then assemble until it's until the 25th. And you can see he's looking at it. He's looking in the future. He's seeing it, right? He's seeing the new world is coming out of this. So here's the sequence. July 15th, you got Uranus and Gemini sextiling Neptune and Aries. On the 18th, which is the 17th here, late night, you got Uranus trine Pluto. Pluto's in Aquarius. Then on the 20th, then you got Jupiter making 3 big aspects over just like a day and a half, right? 2 days. Jupiter is lined up to activate all these 3 outer planets in a row. And so it's going to hit on the 20th. There's 2. On the 20th, Jupiter in Leo is going to trine Neptune. And then later on the 20th, it's going to form the opposition with Pluto. Then the 21st, Jupiter is going to sextile Uranus. And then on the 25th, Neptune's going to sextile Pluto, right? So our first 2 boosters are on the 15th and the 18th. Our third booster is on the 21st with Jupiter sextiling Uranus. Is it Uranus? What is it?
Uranus? Yeah,
Okay.
I call it Uranus.
Uranus, yeah. And then the main activation is set for the 25th and Neptune sextile Pluto. So we got to start with these planets just in their signs at the degree, because that has qualities and properties of its own. And they're all at 4 degrees. There's kind of a numerology going on here. 4 4s, right? It's like an angel number. 444 is it's like the foundations, it's like structural support, it's like you're being protected. 444. The 4 degrees in astrology is the first decan, so it has the quality of starting something new, right? If it's later on in the month, in the 3rd decan, it'll be harvesting or reaping, right? But this is all initiatory at 4 degrees, it's early. Jupiter in Leo, this is radical individual sovereignty, it's personal royalty. Jupiter loves to be in Leo. It's Jupiter in its most raw, enthusiastic form to be in Leo. Big-hearted, creative, drive to shine in your authentic self. It's personal royalty. It's the king and queen energy that's awakening. Jupiter at 4 degrees Leo. And at 4 degrees, it's the beginning of a new cycle of joyous personal royalty. So Uranus at 4 degrees Gemini, mental lightning. This is sparking breakthrough ideas. And at the early degree, 4 degrees, it's the emergence of a new paradigm of how we connect and share truth. Neptune at 4 degrees Aries, this is the spiritual warrior. This is spiritual courage and action. And at 4 degrees, it's the birth of a new spiritual identity, one that acts on dreams rather than just dreaming. Pluto at 4 degrees Aquarius is a deep transformation of the collective system. It's going to purify the power structures, the group dynamics, the technology, and it's going to, in this case, result in a healthy, restructured society that's balanced with fewer inequalities. And so that's just the planets in their signs. It's all fire and air. Spirit, thought, change. So then you put them in their aspects, you take them out of the signs, and the aspects themselves have qualities Uranus sextile Neptune, this is spiritual awakening, but also fuses action with spiritual awakening. You got Uranus trine Pluto. This is harmonious, revolutionary energy. This is an important one because Uranus trine Pluto makes the change feel fun, or makes the change feel positive instead of destructive. There's nothing to fear because it feels like it needs to happen, and it just feels natural. That's an important quality that's in this. Jupiter trine Neptune, well, luck and dreams working together, big opportunities with spiritual inspiration. Jupiter sextile Neptune, sudden lucky opportunities and fortunate breakthroughs. And then Neptune sextile Pluto, deep spiritual purification of our collective systems. That's the one. Neptune sextile Pluto is very high frequency spiritual positive energy. And they're pegging the main activation to that one. The last exact Neptune sextile Pluto was 1986, 40 years ago. And the one before that was 1952, and that's when Ashtar came into the solar system with the Ashtar command to start this process of creating the Earth. So he rode in on a Neptune sextile Pluto aspect and the energy of that. So it's back around, and it's the activating one. So the core tension is the Jupiter-Pluto opposition. This is the lid of the basket. So what an opposition does in astrology is it brings awareness through tension, and then the tension's got to be resolved, it's got to be released. But when it's done in a positive way, and it will be because this is supported by all these harmonious trines and sextiles, so it's the best possible resolution of the tension. It's going to release what needs to be released and make way for the new that needs to come in.
That's why we're having so many vivid dreams right now too, because that's what we're doing. We're releasing tension
I've
from the
noticed
dreams.
that. But it's like a paradox. A paradox in poetry is a contradiction that has a deeper truth. So an opposition in astrology, when it's supported in a positive way, one side doesn't win, but a new thing is born. A third thing is born. And so that's what's going to happen here with Jupiter and Leo. So Jupiter and Leo is the expansion of individual sovereignty. It's that personal royalty. It's all about becoming. Well, Jupiter and Leo says, I must become fully myself. And Pluto and Aquarius says, we must evolve together. So you've got individual versus the collective, and that seems like a tension so Pluto and Aquarius is gonna intensify and transform the collective power. When it's at its best, it's gonna dissolve the old control systems. It's going to give power back to the people, but as a people and not as individuals, right? So you've got this tension of individualism, and then how do you square that with collectivism? And so because it's a creative tension, it's positive tension because it's supported by the basket, which is extremely harmonious, the trines and the sextiles, it's going to release only what no longer serves. So on the Jupiter-Leo side, what no longer serves is self-absorbed individualism that doesn't want anything to do with the collective, right? The loner. I don't want to contribute to society. I just want to do my own thing. Well, that's got to go. What goes on the Pluto and Aquarius side is tyrannical collectivism that suppresses individual freedom. So that's got to go. And the new thing that's born out of that is you have sovereign individuals who are free, but they choose to work together to create a harmonious society. So you've got the best of both. Personal freedom, personal expression, but then also we're working together to create a society where everybody is supported in that. And so that's what's coming because of this, what's getting released. That's what's on paper. What I just laid out is what's on paper for the resolution of the Jupiter-Pluto opposition. Esoterically, what's really going on, with this one is a big chunk of the human subconscious has got to be released to make way for the new energies and the new ideas and the light to come in, basically. So the human collective subconscious is carrying around a lot of baggage, just from trauma and from fear, and it's just got to go. It's got to go. It's not the memories necessarily. It's the energetic imprint of trauma. It's in the Akashic records. So that's got to be purged. That's got to be cleared.
You think that will come with some of the waves of the solar flash?
Well, the what?
This wave of the solar flash, maybe not the big one.
Oh, well, yeah, the solar flash is going to be the thing that sort of that really wraps all this up, and it's going to peel away the remaining darkness. When that happens, it'll dissolve the remaining anomaly. It will energize and activate everyone and everything,
You see it. I've been seeing it lately, like peeling an onion.
Yeah.
We've been slowly, as these rays are coming in so strongly from the galactic sun, I was shown to me like we were peeling off the onion of the earth, of the fear and and all the negative, but we're also, once we peel off the onion, it opens up your light. It opens the onion up to the source of the onion.
The solar flash, and there may be smaller solar flashes that come before the big one that's going to do all that. This portal opening is going to do that. This tension release, supported by this basket, is going to do a lot of that. And so a lot of it's happening now. Actually, a lot of it happened on the 9th. They started really clear intensively to make way for the 25th. So there's a really super intense clearing going on since 2 days ago, and will continue for the next 2 weeks. But that's really what's going on. We got to offload all that baggage in the human collective subconscious to kind of make room for the light to come in. And so, all right, so here's the sequence. Uranus sextile Neptune, well, Uranus in Gemini, sextile Neptune in Aries. The signs are important. That's on the 15th, 3:28 Alabama time. That's sudden spiritual awakening. I'm particularly excited about this one because I have this in my natal chart at a very tight orb. It's 13 minutes of arc. That is a tiny fraction of 1 degree. It is. They tell me that that's the tightest you can get of these big outer planets. So it's an extremely strong aspect that I have in my natal chart. And so if you have it in your natal chart, the transit is going to impact in a positive way. So if it's sudden spiritual awakening, I'm expecting that next Wednesday. I'm expecting downloads. I know I'm already getting them, basically, that they're going into this talk, but I'm really, and that's 4 days from now, right? So everybody can expect that, but if you have it in your natal chart, if you have any of these in your natal chart, it's good to go look and see if you have any of these in your natal chart, because the transits are gonna stimulate that. That's the first booster meditation. The second one, Uranus trine Pluto, is late in the evening on Friday, July 17th here in Central Time, 11:45 p.m. This is revolutionary spiritual change, and so this is that one that makes the change feel good and positive and not scary and not destructive and very constructive. Very positive change. That's kind of the hallmark of this basket. It's big time change, but it's going to be harmonious. And that's our second booster meditation. Then we have Jupiter trine Neptune on the 20th, the first of the 3 big Jupiter aspects in 2 days. That's at 2:23 p.m. Central Time. This is harmonious visionary energy, so it's adding that harmonious visionary energy. It says it blends big-hearted self-expression with spiritual courage and blends big opportunities with spiritual inspiration. So that's coming in. Then you got the opposition on the 20th. There's no meditation pegged to this one. 9:45 a.m. Central Time. This sets up that tension between the conscious and subconscious mind. It's going to be released in the best possible way. Then you've got Jupiter sextile Uranus on the 21st, 6:11 a.m. our time. This is sudden breakthroughs. So they link the third booster to this one at 6:11 a.m. This one says, genius gets amplified. Individual creativity shocks the system in the best way. I like that. And also it says that like your voice is not just accepted but required in the new society, right? So it's individual expressions, that personal royalty from Jupiter and Leo. Then we have Neptune sextile Pluto on the 25th. This is the long-term spiritual upgrade for humanity. This is the very high frequency spiritual energy coming in, very positive. Between 1952 and 86, there was they say it was the most powerful spiritual awakening period since ever, really. And it was a flowering of spirituality, New Age movement, also people learning about other systems around the world, really authentic renaissance of metaphysical, spiritual awakening happened.
It was also the first wave of light workers coming
That's
through.
Right.
So that's one of the main factors, and that's why you see that in all the music in the 80s. If you go back and listen to a lot of it, it's talking.
Do you know disco was Pleiadian?
No,
It
really?
was. Just they love it. They're into disco, and so they influenced disco. But those were bookended by the 1950s to the 86 was bookended by two Neptune sextile Pluto alignments, and that's now coming back around on the 25th. So, there's one more. This is on the 20th, and this is Haumea, Kuiper Belt object, and she brings in the energies of the Golden Age, the New Age. She forms this thing called a finger of Yod. You know what that is? Finger of Yod? Okay.
Finger of God?
You see it?
Yeah, like it's between
Okay.
Uranus and Neptune and Haumea.
It's supposed to like bring in the New Age, right? So, anyways, it's another aspect that's added to the basket. She forms the handle of the basket. There's more going on than just what we went over. There's other stuff. It's a couple of more bodies I think that are involved in it, but extremely intricate, extremely positive. Configuration starts in 4 days. Actually, it's already started. It started 2 days ago, and it's the next 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks are going to be
Have you guys been feeling it?
Yeah.
I haven't been able to sleep for
Yeah,
days.
yeah.
Dreams.
It's like
My
I'm drinking
dreams have
coffee all
been-
night long.
That's what I was saying.
very
That
vivid.
vivid dreams are coming in, so we can release things from our past lives that we are holding in our bodies, but we can't remember the past lives. So they're starting to come in. And if you need to release anger, you're gonna get angry in your dream. If you need to release sadness, you're gonna feel sad.
Yeah.
And I also connected with Ashtar, and Ashtar said that a lot of things are also, we are connecting with the collective energy.
Yeah.
So what the collective is feeling right now is fear because of what all's going on in the world. And what
That's why
I
can't
got,
find my keys.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Ashtar because the world's going to change for the better just because of the astrology. But on top of that, you've got light forces from around the universe who are working operations to actually free us, to clear the anomaly and remove the dark beings and kind of wake people up and reveal the truth. You see this, there's a big disclosure push coming out of the government. And you go to the Department of War site right now and see their files. And so that was pushed by the positive ETs that are in the Trump administration, and that's a priority for them. There's dark ones too in his administration. demonstration. But in any case, it brings up the question, who are the light forces? We use that term a lot. I like this poster. It's got kind of a, I don't know, it's got kind of an epic adventure feel to it. But you got the Pleiadians in there. You got the Pleiadian ships. That's Ashtar there. Ashtar is, he looks Pleiadian, but he's Syrian. But he's also, he was on the earth for a long time back in Atlantis. And he was the last.
See the white-haired one?
No,
He's the guy in the blue.
Oh, in blue.
He's in the blue.
Yeah.
I've done some astral travel.
So he was a Syrian, and he ascended 26,000 years ago from the earth in Atlantis. He was the last human to escape the earth before the dark forces locked it down and put it in a quarantine. And that's what we've been in for 26,000 years. But he ascended, and that's how he got out. And he vowed to come back. He vowed to come back, and they knew there was a galactic prophecy that something big was going to happen around the year 2000. And you hear that, that's in the Bible, that's in, it's in other, it's prophecy that we're familiar with, but it actually happened August 11th, 1999, and it was a watershed moment when the human collective consciousness crossed a threshold. Some people say, it was finally more light than dark or something, but it was some big evolution forward that allowed the source to start anchoring some light codes in the quantum field. He anchored something called the New Heaven Key on August 11th, 1999. That was the first day they knew that the light was going to win on the earth. They didn't know whether we'd ever get out of here. But they knew mathematically in August of 99 that the earth would be freed.
And it's also when the dark knew, because they kept messing with the looking glass. And the looking glass kept telling them that they lost.
Well, right. So in any case, he did come back with his fleet in 1952, riding that Neptune sextile Pluto energy in. Has connected with people over that time, and so people can have gotten messages from him. But he's in control, command of the space operations in the Ashtar Command. Saint Germain is now the commander of the Earth Liberation, because he's been working on it. He's been working on it for hundreds or even 1,000 years in all of his incarnations. He worked on it as Francis Bacon before Saint Germain, before he was Saint Germain. So he actually helped found the United States. He inspired the language that's in the founding documents. He was in the room. They were scared to sign the Declaration of Independence because they knew they'd all be killed. And he spoke. He stood up and spoke. They called him the mysterious stranger, and he inspired them. I've got the speech. Did a talk here on it, and it's very inspirational, and it got him to sign the Declaration. So. He had a vision for the United States as being the new Atlantis or the utopia. And since the United States founding documents are at least partially coming from an ascended consciousness, that there's a lot of potential in the U.S. There's still a lot of potential for evolution. Whatever you think of it, there is. And so that's Jesus, I guess. He looks kind of like Jesus. Or he's now Sananda. We've got a Syrian lion guy there. I guess that's Archangel Michael, looking buff. The sword, I guess, he's got a sword in his wings. And then this is Isis, the goddess. She is Ashtar's twin soul. They're both from Sirius. They're both ascended beings. And that's another reason he's here, is because he wants to bust her out, right? But she came a long time ago to anchor the goddess energy, the divine feminine energy. And has been doing that for a long time. But this is, if you want to do the hierarchy though, you have source at the top, the one, the absolute source of the universe. And you have to understand the source is not all powerful. That's something that's challenging for some people. Source is not all powerful. Can't just like wave a wand and disappear people or change reality or whatever. And also is not all knowing. Source doesn't know what you're going to do. and doesn't know what the dark's going to do. And they're very good at concealing what they do from the source. But the source is all good. So those three that were taught, omnipotent, omniscient, and omnibenevolent, the source that we have really is only omnibenevolent. And so for that reason, the source never created darkness and never allowed it to happen either. That's the paradox of how do you have an all-powerful, all-good God when you have evil? So either he has to have created it for some purpose, or he has to have allowed it to happen for some purpose. But that's never made any sense, and it's not the truth. So the source is a being that learns and has learned over time how to transmute the darkness, and he's put those plans into action. And and then all of the light beings, all the way up in the hierarchy, are just implementing it basically for the source. The next step down, we have the what we think of as gods and goddesses. These are the creator gods and goddesses. These are part of the galactic central races and the cosmic central race. They live in our galaxy around the center of the galaxy, around the central sun. It's a non-physical central sun, galactic central sun. It's like a paradise. And they create life forms. They don't design them or cook them up in a lab. They conceive them and give birth to them through male and female union. And they put love into them. So all life forms are born. It's the DNA seed of a new life form. So Sophia, it was the goddess of wisdom. She was an Aeon. They also called them creator goddess at the galactic center of our galactic central race, and she created or gave birth to the human DNA seed known as the Anthropos 4.5 billion years ago. And she was so in love with her child because they don't know what they're going to get necessarily when they conceive. You know, they have some intention they can put into it, but they were amazed. Her and her partner, Teletos, were amazed at what was born, and because the human DNA seed had a combination of qualities that had never been seen. It was a combination of free will, creative intelligence, which is our true superpower, and then also divine intelligence, which I think is the Ascension blueprint. But no other DNA seed had been born that had that specific combination. And so what she saw in us was the potential to become a new kind of angel, a new kind of light being that would spread a lot of light into the universe. And so she left the pleroma, the center of the galaxy, where she's they're not supposed to leave that because they're not vibrationally compatible with the outer galaxy, but she did. A great hardship to herself. She left, came to the earth where they'd sent the Anthropos to incubate. She ensouled the earth, and she is Gaia. She's our earth mother. And that's another reason they want to liberate the earth, is so because she's ready to ascend. And she's put up with a lot, and she came here to take care of us, essentially. And she had to leave her partner to do it. So, but the creator gods and goddesses are kind of the next below source in the hierarchy. Then you have your ascended realm. You've got Saint Germain, I guess that's Jesus, Mary Magdalene. You have your archangels, and then your angelic realm. So this is sort of the next rung down. These masters ascended from earth, obviously. Ascended beings generally have a physical incarnation, and then they learn to, the natural evolution of any incarnated being is to ascend. It's just the natural evolution. And they become beings of pure light and consciousness. They can manifest light bodies, which is what they fly around in the spaceships on. But they have similar powers to the archangels and the angels. So beings can ascend from other from other planets, other star systems. They can ascend, and you see most of the life forms in this galaxy are humanoid, about 70%. It's a good body design for working on the physical plane, but some of them look a little different. But they all ascend from what's called the human level. The human level can be any species, but what makes it the human level is the next step up is ascension. So some work their way up from lower life forms to become human, and then the next step is to ascend. Angels can go down from angelic realm to become human, to get that experience and also to help. But as ascended beings, they don't need spaceships to travel, but they do hang out on them because they can interact with other beings and work with them. So you got Sananda, you got Saint Germain on these motherships. Then you have your what I call star nations, what the Native Americans call the star nations. They're some of them are ascended, but a lot of them aren't. They're very advanced spiritually and technologically, and they're all they're from Sirius, Pleiades, Arcturus. The Aldebarans are here. The Andromedans are here. Different races, different civilizations are here. They're all working together. They're all extremely positive, and some of them look very human. Some of them look a little bit different, but you'll feel their energy as being very positive and loving. And so that's the Galactic Confederation. Mm-hmm. And we heard a lot about the Pleiadians. They're one of the races. They look the most like us, so they're one of the ones we'll meet when that's possible. And they are very heart-centered, and they live beautiful lives where they just make art all the time, and they like disco, and they have a good time, and but they're very loving, and they've been working on the Earth liberation for a long time. And the thing about it though is, well, the next level down is us. Human light workers are part of the light forces. We're a critical part of the light forces. They need channels on the surface to send energies through and information, and they need us to work together to anchor energies and to do the meditations. And so I like this one because the light in our heart is our superpower. But the thing is a lot of light workers are Pleiadian or Syrian. Their souls are from these star nations, and so most light workers are probably star seeds, and so we have a special connection with the star races. Might have communication with them, and we'll be the first to meet them. And I think that's going to be a joyous reunion. And I don't think I'm Pleiadian, but I can't wait to meet some. And we will have a time where contact happens when that's possible. The remaining dark forces that still largely control the governance of the world have to be fully disarmed, and they're not yet, so that can't happen. Who are the dark forces? I don't want to spend a lot of time on these guys because they don't really deserve our time and our energy. I think it's important to know that they exist. They are the negative versions of the positive ETs. Mm-hmm. And they came here about 1 million years ago from different parts of this and other galaxies, and they got stronger and stronger until they were able to just take over the Earth 26,000 years ago, near the fall of Atlantis. Put the Earth in a quarantine, and you either had to leave on a ship, or you had to accept these implants, which were going to lower your consciousness, or you had to go underground to the Agarthan realm. But most of us stayed on the planet. I had a teacher called Chief Golden Light Eagle, and he knew all this. And his teachings are all very right in line with all of these, and he just said, yeah, we let the dark forces in because we wanted to see who they were. And so we did end up seeing who they were, and most of them have been removed now, but they still do largely control the institutions of the world, militaries, banking, most of the governments, etc. There are people who are in human bodies, but they're not human. They have reptilian souls, and they tend to get promoted by the other ones to positions of power. There's about 500 million of them. And that explains a lot. And so when you think, wow, how could they do that? That's not human. Well, they're not human. But they're being removed, and they will all be removed. It's also important to know that there is a consciousness in the subquantum anomaly, and it is a malevolent consciousness called the lurker.
What?
It's called the lurker, and that's the name for it, is the lurker, and it lives in the subquantum anomaly and can weaponize it. It can target people with the chaotic fluctuations from the quantum. It's Murphy's Law. If you've ever felt that you were targeted, well, you were. And it can just disrupt your life on all levels. And the lurker is really the reason for most of human suffering on all levels. And when they clear the subquantum anomaly, they clear the lurker along with it, and we can help. This is a command. You say command clear space 3 times. Command clear space, command clear space, command clear space. All right, so what this does is it activates those beams from the ships automatically. So you're not bothering anybody when you say it. It's going to be automatic. You're going to call it in. Now, they're constantly clearing, but they may not be clearing where you are right now. So you're calling this into your personal space when you need it. You can't do it too much. It was just released a few months ago. There's anecdotal testimony that this is very powerful. You know, anything from my cat was really acting up and I did the clear space and he calmed down. But there's, to more serious stuff that I've done it and it does seem to help. It does help. So it can't hurt to do it. And they want us to do it. We're like the Air Force guys who call in the airstrikes. That's what we do. That's what I feel like when I'm doing it. But they encourage us to do this, and also you can call in the Emerald Ray. You can call it straight from source, but you can actually also call it from the Pleiadians, and they'll focus it and send it out. If you say command 1221 3 times, then say a call for the healing Emerald Healing Ray, you'll get the Pleiadians will send it to you. I do that a lot. That also clears the anomaly. The big thing that's clearing it on the quantum level is these light codes from the source. And they're called keys. And there's the New Heaven key and the New Earth key. The New Heaven key, and they come straight from the source, which is at the top of the light hierarchy, obviously. And this is one of the things that the source can do, is to create the light codes that work on the quantum field and rearrange the light grid of the planet. The New Heaven key was released in 1999 at that watershed moment in August when the human consciousness kind of was ready for it. And that was a turning point, they say, in the liberation effort. And what it does is it clears anomaly. It eats up all forms of darkness. Not just the anomaly, it's the result of the anomaly, the energetic residue of the anomaly and the trauma. And it eats up all of that on all dimensional levels. It's associated with the color opalescent blue. And it's actually associated with actual opals. Opals tend to have that color. I'll talk about these in a minute, but it's been working for 26 years, but it wasn't strong enough to clear it on its own. So last August, the source introduced another key that is called the New Earth key. The New Earth key was, the New Heaven key is working throughout the whole universe. It's been clear in darkness for a long time and has largely completed that job. I mean, there's basically the universe outside of this solar system is a very nice place to be. But he introduced the, and I say he, I'm just gonna say he for the source. But the new Earth key, one thing it did is it activated the giant etheric crystal that is the Earth's core. The Earth is an emerald. The emeralds don't form anywhere else in the universe except the Earth. And so the Earth is an emerald and has that, and so it has the emerald ray energy, but it activates that emerald heart, and so that empowers the Earth and empowers the light grid. It is associated with the emerald ray. Now, the emerald, the new Earth key, the new heaven key eats up darkness directly on all levels. The new Earth key has the blueprint for the paradise Earth. We had that back in Lemuria before Atlantis, before the dark took over. And so it has that energetic blueprint, and it's constantly rearranging the light grid to make it a reality. The new Earth key is also healing our lower 3 chakras. It's deprogramming the fear out of the root. It's the emotional fear of relationship problems in the sacral, and then it's reprogramming the solar plexus as well, to help with issues of power and also truth. So it will be less easy to deceive, but those 3 lower chakras have been heavily programmed by the dark to keep us in a fearful, state of it messes with our relationships, it messes with our ability to project our will into the world. So that's one thing that it's doing. These keys can be used. The new Earth key can be used to help you connect with the angelic realms and the higher realms. The new Earth key can help you with abundance and manifestation. The new heaven key connects you with your soul and the higher parts of yourself. So they do slightly different things, but they work together. They were merged in May 24th, just less than 2 months ago. May 24th, yeah. In Bora Bora. Bora Bora in the Pacific is the highest vibrational place on the Earth. One thing is out in the middle of the Pacific, there's not a lot of people around, but also it's just, it was where the starseeds first landed millions of years ago. And it's got, there's a Pleiadian base there, underwater base, there's a Syrian underwater base there. And so they anchored them here, a light worker team anchored the 2, or as far as merged the 2 keys. And they visualized the opalescent blue, that is the color of the new Earth key, coming from the galactic center, coming through the solar system, through their body and anchoring at the center of the Earth. And they imagined the emerald ray coming from the galactic center, same thing, through their body and then they imagined the emerald ray coming up, meeting in their heart, and the opalescent ray coming down and meeting in their heart. And those colors mixing, blue and green together, is the color of the new paradise. And so they anchored and activated the keys together, and that was a real breakthrough moment. He says, don't mix the colors to where they blend like into aquamarine, right? You want to keep them separate, but they swirl around, kind of like the lagoon at Bora Bora, or I imagine it kind of like this. You keep the colors, but you swirl them together. That's how you visualize it. And this is the color of the new paradise, the blue and green together, the opalescent blue and emerald. Some emeralds have that already. Emeralds are really special stones. They're created from past solar flashes. And so the solar flashes brings a lot of high frequency energy to the surface, and what that does is create these stones that they're not crystals, they're not fully crystallized. They are described as pure, well, it's liquid, frozen liquid light. And some of them can't really see it, but some of them are translucent. Some of them have like laser shows going on in them. People make
What
jewelry
is
out of
that?
these. Huh?
What is it called?
Opal?
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
an opal. And so all opals everywhere have the energies of the solar flashes in them and the energies of the galactic central sun. But the ones in Lightning Ridge, Australia, that was one of the places in August of '99 that the New Heaven Key was anchored in a ceremony. So Lightning Ridge, Australia, and this is a category, you can buy these, they're about the same cost as a rough emerald, and you can order them from these auction sites of people who make opal jewelry. So they, they sell rough ones, and the rough ones work just as well, and they're cheap. And so, but Lightning Ridge, Australia is a category, and you can find that. And so I've got a couple, but they're different colors. Some of them are the blue, green. The blue, opalescent blue, is kind of the predominant color. And so it's helpful to get one like that, though you don't have to. This one's not blue at all. It's more of a translucent violet. And it's just as strong as this one, but I just like the color of that one, kind of the sky blue. But the opalescent blue, this is a good reference for what that is when you're visualizing the opalescent blue light. And it is very good to have one of these because you can work with the New Earth Key and the New Heaven Key together. You hold an opal in one hand and an emerald in the other, or in both hands, and it's very powerful. And then you visualize the light. Emeralds, you get a rough emerald, and they come from around the world. I think the best ones are from Colombia, but the other ones around the world have different specific properties. I think these are from Pakistan. They're fairly cheap, but you don't have to have a big one. The more translucent it is, the better, but this one's not very translucent at all, and it's still very powerful. But emeralds, the earth is an emerald. Emeralds they are actually more valuable than gold because the earth is the only place that they come from. Whereas like diamonds and gold and stuff is very common out in the universe. So you'll be able to buy stuff from the Pleiadians with these. Because they're very valuable. And so anyway, but you can work with the opals and the emerald to merge and anchor this New Heaven Key and the New Earth Key. The New Heaven Key can connect you. Opals also connect you with the Buddhic plane. That's where your soul is. So the opals can directly connect you with your soul. And that's very useful. But working with both these stones together can help you work with these keys. The other thing, and this July 25th meditation is going to it's going to empower the work of the keys, because our actual meditation on the 25th is we're going to visualize the emerald ray coming up from and meeting at your heart. We're going to visualize the opalescent ray coming down and meeting. So we're going to do what they did more and more. That's what the actual meditation is on the 25th. The other thing that's going to get really empowered is this 1221 point of grace. And so what this is a conversion mechanism. And so let's say this is everything that could happen is coming this way from the future, and then this is everything that does actually manifest comes out the past. But it's got to come through this 1221 point of grace now, since this was embedded in the quantum field last August, and this July meditation is gonna strengthen this and empower this. But it's a conversion mechanism. It converts negative to positive. That means negative energy to positive energy, but also negative potential outcomes to positive ones. It converts hell to heaven, literally. Hell situations to heaven situations. And so it doesn't go the other way. It doesn't convert positive to negative because it is divine grace. And you may have heard that we're under the law of grace now instead of the law of karma. Well, literally we are, because this is embedded in the quantum field, and it's converting everything to positive. And so what this July 25th meditation is going to do is empower the source to come in and start directly eliminating negative potentialities. And that's going to make our lives better, but one thing it is, it's going to take the bullets out of the gun that the dark forces still have aimed at us, because their plans or their threats of plans will simply be eliminated as possibilities. And so the plan now for the liberation is just the source is going to do that until we're free with the 1221 point of grace. So that's very exciting, and that's happening on the 25th. The other big thing we're supposed to be doing now is we're all supposed to be working on our personal timelines. This helps you, but it also helps the earth, because if enough people are doing it, we're creating a resonance field that helps the earth step into its own golden timeline. Also, we are strengthening the free will of humanity. When we are visualizing what we want, we are using our free will, and that helps strengthen the free will of humanity, and that's what's been lacking. Humanity needs the free will to call for its own liberation, and because it's been weakened in so many ways. But you have the golden planetary timeline. You also have your personal timeline, and they work together. So essentially, you have to connect with your soul. The higher up the dimensional planes, this is you. You have bodies on every one of those planes going up to the monad. And roughly, it's your physical body, your emotional body, your mind is your personality, and then your soul takes up most of the entire Buddhic plane, going into the plane above it. And then above that is your I am presence, or your God spark, your monad, essentially. And so you want to manifest, you want to form the manifesting vision as high up as you can. So if you manifest from your soul or higher, it's going to be more effective. Now, how do you connect with your soul? Well, once you do, your manifestation really kicks in. So it's connecting with your soul, and then it is deciding what it is you actually want. That's where the free will kind of comes in. People don't know what they want, but you got to decide, and you got to visualize it strongly and consistently, and so that takes free will to go through that effort in that process. You also got to combine it with you don't want to feel like, okay, I wish I had this, because that communicates that you don't have it, and that's the universe will reinforce that. But you can have something called a rocket of desire, and what that is like an overwhelming desire for it. It kind of transcends that feeling of lack, because it's just powerful. It's also like, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it because I want that bad. And then you imagine how you feel when you get it. So the combination of those is infuses it with emotional energy. First, you start with your vision, very detailed, and you infuse it with that emotional energy, that rocket of desire, plus how you would feel when you got it. And then you take a physical action, and that can be just writing it down. If you write it down, that's putting it on the physical plane. And then you manifest. You can manifest whatever you want. Saint Germain did. And but we're all going to be empowered to do this. We have to understand that we can do this. It's not something that only some people can do. And the conditions are now being created. The obstacles and barriers are being removed, and this power is being supported in all of us. But to connect with your soul, this is a quick mantra. This was given to the mystery schools a long time ago. It's very powerful and also very short. You just say this as much as you can. But first, you put your consciousness in your soul star chakra. And I don't know what that means other than you visualize the soul star. It's a white chakra about 5 inches above your head, 4 or 5 inches. Or you actually somehow look out from it. I don't know, whatever, put your consciousness in the soul star. I think just be aware of it. Be aware of your soul star. have your intention to have your consciousness in your soul star. But then you say this: I am the soul, I am the light divine, I am love, I am will, I am the plan divine. This is an updated one. This last line used to be something different, but they upgraded it. It used to be I am fixed design, meaning I design myself, but this is I'm the divine plan unfolding. And so you say this, more than once. You can say it out loud or silently in your head, and it's powerful because you start to think about it. Well, first of all, anything you put after I am is powerful, but I am the soul. Okay, wow, I don't have a soul, I am a soul. I have a body. And then it starts to make your soul consciousness your operating consciousness. And then all the energy and light in your soul will flood your mind and your personality and your body. And so you're connecting with your soul, and then I am the soul, I am the light divine, I am love, I am will, I am the plan divine. Then you're ready to manifest. Then you visualize what you want. And they want you to, manifest and visualize the car, the house, the jewelry, whatever makes you happy. Just physical abundance is good because it makes you happy, makes you comfortable. And you being happy helps the planet. And there's nothing wrong with wealth and luxury and material things. You also manifest like creativity and success and relationships and travel and experiences. Anything you want, you visualize, and in the greatest detail that you can, after you connect with your soul. Put that emotional energy into it. Write it down, because that's putting it on the physical plane. And, well, they know you're going to do this, right? They know you're going to manifest money in the house and the car and your soulmate and all of this. But they also know that after you manifest all this, you may do more of this. And you may do more of this. You're probably going to do more of that. And you may even do more of this. You know why? Because you're going to have time to do it, and you're going to be free to do it, and you're going to be a light worker working with other light workers. That's what they really need us to do, is to do our light work in a group with other light workers, because it vastly amplifies the power and the effects. And so you also might, if you're well funded, you might want to help other people. You might want to open a healing center. You might want to start a mystery school. You might want to go out and just help people directly. And so the light forces know that you're going to do that, and so they want to empower you to do it. And that's money. And this is the Saint Germain Trust. I don't think we're going to get $1 billion. We might, but what I've heard is light workers will get about $10 million. And so this group has people do the exercise where you write down in detail what you would do with $10 million. And that doesn't mean just spend it. It means invest it, grow it, protect it, put it in a trust. How much are you going to get from that? What are you going to do with it? They want people to be able to manage it properly, but they want light workers to be well funded, because they know that light workers are going to use the money for the highest purpose. And so they're telling us to practice. Learn about managing money, because it's coming. Saint Germain just poured out all that gold into the etheric plane. It's going to manifest down. And also he's got the real gold that's been sitting around for a couple 100 years. And this is just what we're going to get out of that. What we manifest on top of that, we can add to it. And so our golden personal timelines become the planetary timeline, the planetary golden timeline. And then that together becomes the Ascension timeline for the planet. And here is, the booster meditations, the instructions are on the We Love Mass Meditation. They have a website, they also have a YouTube channel. It's essentially you're visualizing the soul star chakras of people around the world lighting up with inspiration to do the main meditation. But then, here is our July 25th, and you are gonna visualize the opalescent blue light of the new heaven coming down into your heart, and then the emerald green light coming up, and then meeting in your heart, creating this field of opalescent blue-green energy. Then you're gonna visualize your golden timeline as part of the meditation. So you wanna get some practice doing that. Get some practice visualizing the blue light and the green light. And then you visualize the golden planetary timeline. And so this will be about a 20-minute meditation. We'll follow the live stream, but it's good to familiarize yourself with these instructions.
Let's write it down somewhere.
Well, yeah, so here's your booster on the 15th. These are all video cover pages.
Okay.
And this is the YouTube channel, the We Love Mass Meditation. It's easy to find. It's got all these videos up there, and then they also have a website. So join the boosters if you can, but definitely please do the July 25th one, and come here if you can. It's gonna be
So
fun.
you're coming here for the 25th,
Mhm.
and which other ones are
Just
you?
the 25th.
Just the 25th?
Well, so it's Wednesday, next Wednesday at 3:28, and I was thinking about leaving work early.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe yeah.
I would do it.
Okay. The next one though is 11:45 Friday, and we could do that.
Hey, you know?
Well, I have my
not too
kids.
far away.
Well, and then the next one is 6:11 on next Tuesday, 6:11 a.m. That one might be difficult. We will talk about it. Yeah, I that would be great. And then you can tell your astrology class.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do know, by the way, I do know some very high level people who follow this very
Yeah.
carefully.
Yeah. Well, it's the best thing going on, and it's proven to me over years because of the energies that I've felt, and also the kind of the truth signal and the information, but also what it's done for me. I mean, it's really it's activated me, and it's inspired me, and it's given me hope, and it's helped me to sort of discover some of my powers and abilities, and so
Last year, we made some talismans during
That's
these
right.
things, and I still have a huge stack that I'm still working on of talismans that we created, where if you make something during the activation, like an hour before the meditation, you just take clay or whatever and just squish it around real good and then make a ball. It doesn't really matter what you make. And then you keep that or put it on your altar, and it embodies this
Yeah.
energy, and it stays with you for as long as you have that ball.
yeah.
So that's another thing we could do.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'd like to have Uranus sextile Neptune. Yeah. That would be
You wanna
good.
keep these things.
I've still got them from last year. I used to wear them around my neck. But I guess you can stop. Did you stop? Okay.